guys, welcome. It's been a while. I've been really busy with client jobs. I'm still working on several client jobs, various of the fault lines of course, for which the pre-order has opened for those who missed the campaign. Go to my website to find the link. Well, I'm done plugging now. And of course there's ILXCon, which is coming up really soon. This time next week it's go. And this time I'm in the main show again for the second time in a row. I wasn't planning on being in the main show, so I hadn't really gotten anything really spectacular done. I had a couple of pieces, but enough for the showcase, but not for the main show. And when I was bumped up, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, I knew I had to bring my A game because it's very important. And I decided to focus on creating some art, and you've seen my sculpting. Also, I've done a lot of pieces for Fairies of the Fault Lines, and I've been sketching a lot for the fairies as well. And recently I've posted a couple of these sketches on Facebook and on Instagram, and people were asking me all kinds of questions about my sketching process. And I thought it would be nice to actually give you a tour of one of these sketchbooks again and talk a little bit about my process as when I sketch. Of course, rarely do people get to see my sketchbooks because those are my stories and my playground and ideas, and it's very personal, but I'm excited to be sharing them with you, and I hope you enjoy it. Please, if you have any questions, have any suggestions, message me, and I hope you enjoy this and get back to me soon, or with feedback, or with things like, hey, this sucks, or, well, not that, to be honest. Just hope you like it. Okay, bye bye. So guys, welcome to my sketchbook tour. Ta-da! Anyway, I use these Strathmore visual art journals. They come in mixed media, watercolor, vellum, Bristol, whatever. There's all these kinds of types of paper, and I love them because they are wire bound, and I have this hardback, and I can actually take them everywhere I go. As I open up, you can see I actually sketched on the wrong side of the paper, my bad. But doesn't really matter in this case because the paper is just both sides the same. As you can see, this is what my pages look like, and I've been asked about people like, what's your routine, my sketching routine, certain time of day, at random, reference or not, and once a day or more than once a day, and how to avoid sketching the same stuff repeatedly. All of these questions are really good, and I'd like to address them. First off, certain time of day, it doesn't really matter. I personally love sketching in the evening when I have done all my work for clients and I just want to do some personal stuff to wind down from the day. So that works for me, but it might not work for you. Okay, that's one question. Here you can actually see some of my preliminary sketches for a stray sod, which is this one. I'm looking for a pose. Actually, this one is a stray sod as well, but you can't really see anything from that. It's just a scribble, but to me it has a lot of information for a promising idea. It's just I do things like this, and I hope you can actually see it. I'm not really sure if you can, but see that those are really quick sketches just to narrow down on a pose. Right, this is an idea I'm working on for a bigger piece, based on a story I developed when I was in Iceland. I got stuck in a bog whilst exploring the countryside, and I was sucked into this bog marshy type of stuff. I was knee deep, and it was kind of scary, and I developed a story about hags and witches that inhabited these bogs and dragged their victims down. So these are preliminary sketches where I try to narrow down poses of these women of, yeah, I'm looking for creatures that creep and crawl, and like they're based on the bog men and women that are found. There's bodies found in bogs and years later, like thousands of years later, and they're really well preserved, but their skin is stretched over their bodies, and that's what I'm going for. These creatures have been living in the bogs for a long period of time, and their skin is just leathery and stretched over their bones. So that's that. Again, stray sword. There you have them, and you can actually, I chose this to bring to color. You might have seen it. I still love my stray swords, and I'm planning on doing more because they're really interesting. Again, a composition for the bog witches and a troll. So there was this question about reference or no, and I say yes. Yes to reference, because reference makes you a better artist. If you don't know how something looks, you have to look it up and work with it. You'll immediately see when a person hasn't used reference, and the anatomy will be wonky or something will be off, and you can't really know all of the things you see, so you have to use reference at times. What I tend to do is, when I have a general idea, I just start sketching and bring in reference at a later moment, because I really think it's good to have that first initial quick sketching, and then when you pull in the reference, you can fine-tune your idea and make it work, make it believable. Like this is a sketch for dragon wings based on a photograph of owl wings, actually, and this is, of course, this is based on an actual lizard that's still roaming the earth these days. So you can mix and match, and this goblin or troll was actually based on a bonobo ape or chimp. I'm not sure which one, but it was one. Again, our ladies of the bog. See, I do sketch a lot of the same stuff, and there's no that's not a problem, I think, or a bad thing. When you come back, I tend to come back to sketches just because I feel I haven't yet found the right pose or composition for a piece, and I like to come back and just redefine and use the knowledge I've learned and gathered over the time period that I left it to become a better person or artist. And yeah, things like this is also something I do. It's like really tiny thumbnails that have all the information I need, and they tell me this quick visual notes I take on pieces I want to do in the future. It might be something that I'm not really feeling right now, but by taking these notes, I know what the idea is, and I can come back. So in 2 months' time, I might open up this sketchbook and find an idea that I'm ready for, because I've mentally prepared or think I can actually pull it off as an artist. These are all sketches for my ring wraith pieces. That was a changeling auction theme which dealt about Tolkien, and I really like the ring wraiths, and I never really draw horses, so I drew some of these obviously without reference, and there's still there's so much lacking, but I know the basic shape of a horse, so that's not a problem. And using reference to fine-tune it and to find the boundaries of what is possible. This ring wraith, this horse is dead. is decomposing. It needs to have the look of a horse, but yet not be a horse. It's dead. It's an undead horse. So I'm trying to find a way to convey that. And as you can see, I skip to other stuff immediately afterwards. And this is a typical sketchbook page for me. It's just all over the place. There's all these kinds of ideas. And again, you might not see anything in it, but to me, this is information I can use for something else. I've got all these creatures and all these weird things that they keep coming. And when I start sketching, I'll have a good day, and I can easily fill 4 or 5 of these pages in an evening. And with an evening, I mean 2 hours perhaps tops. I start sketching. I stop working for clients and stuff like that at 9 in the evening, and I go downstairs to watch some telly with my boyfriend, and basically I continue working. But my work is actually sketching, and it's my way of getting my thoughts in a row and just like relax and wind down. So that's my routine. It's just daily sketching. I found that I can't really do it at my table, at my drawing desk. You've seen my drawing desk. It's an awesome desk to work on, but it doesn't really invite myself to sketch, because the whole posture is, when I sit down at that desk, is work, and not really enjoying. I bought a bean bag, and I use that one too when it's not full of stuff. I use that to just relax, put on some music, and just relax in my studio. But the main part of the house where I sketch is downstairs on the sofa. You see, again, some different poses of the ring wraith. I really wanted to have a feeling of him and the horse sniffing out Frodo. Again, so you see, I keep on going until I find the right pose, and I found it with this one. I really like this one, and I went out and worked that out brought that to the finish. Again, sketches, all of these tiny things, creatures in trees, tree creatures, whatever. I jot down things like this. I really want to do some more tooth fairies. What does a tooth fairy look like? I've drawn lots of tooth fairies, but the whole concept of a tooth fairy is interesting, and it's just I like to sketch these things repeatedly to find interesting shapes and interesting creatures to further their story. I have bird creatures, bird fairies, phoenixes, mist fae. I call them sylphs, by the way. Like a unicorn dragon kind of creature. Still have to work on that one. Oh yeah, and this is a really interesting one as well. This is going to be a very dark painting. It's based on the myth of a red cap, where a washerwoman or a fairy is washing bloodied clothes in a river, and I want to do something with really nocturnal fairies that are really nasty and you do not wish to meet them. Hope to get that finished. Yeah, as you can see, just random creatures. And what you can do, and what I do sometimes, is I have this Pinterest board where I have all these interesting images of faces, a lot of faces. And I just use those as a guide or a beginning point of beginning, and I push those features into something new, into a troll or a giant or whatever. That's a good use of reference, if you ask me. It's just by pushing it. Dragons, I really love dragons. Anything is possible, and you can just mash up all these animal anatomy, and it's trying to find different interesting shapes. Some birds, really want to do these. Probably have some at Illuxcon with me. Yeah, more birds, more bat people. Bat people, bat people. Hags. Phoenix. So that's a sketch. You know, trees and whatnot. Again, bird people. I love bird people. Or bird people. So, but I'm not too bothered by accuracy here, and as you can see, I do things like this. These like really rough sketches. For me, these are full of information, and they have the right lines for me to work with, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, horns. Horns. Who doesn't like horns? Sometimes I draw several things the same, like many times, but it's all different. So there's no, I'm not really repeating myself. I'm just learning. Every day I'm a better artist, I hope. So there's witches, and that one was actually, this one was first, and that one was second. I'm trying to find shapes. These were done at really bad lighting at a convention. Oh, some nudes I did. Like nude drawings, and that, like each drawing you had a couple of minutes. I think 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes per sketch. And instead of focusing on the whole body, I tried to focus on areas I wanted to learn. And also I use the shadows to form the form, if that makes any sense at all. Oh yeah, I have empty pages like this. Well, maybe I'll add some more. And then I do stuff like this, as you can see, all over the place. And this one actually became the fallen leaves fae. I wanted to do something different, and I think she worked well. Little troll. And these were all based upon photographs I have in this Pinterest folder, where I just push the human anatomy and the facial features, and things like this pop up. And it's a really good way of learning how to come up with new shapes. So yeah, this is it for now. This book is almost finished. I think I'm gonna take this with me to Illuxcon and just add more to it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions concerning sketches or sketching, please let me know. For me, this is a daily thing, so I just do it basically. But I can understand it's daunting when you're just starting out or you have questions. So please feel free to contact me, and I will see you next time, hopefully at Illuxcon. Bye bye.